Beyonce couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Cathy White would have been in her second trimester. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Cathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right.
Turns out the whispers weren't just gossip. It was Blue Ivy that Jay-Z's late mistress, Cathy White, was carrying at the time of her shocking death. People been connecting the dots for years, but Jaguar Wright lit the fire when she flat out blamed Beyonce for what happened to Cathy.
What must have been a fake baby bump visually collapsed as she sat down. I admit, that did look weird, but maybe it was a weird camera angle, or maybe she wears extra padding to keep her due date a secret. And yes, maybe Beyonce isn't actually pregnant.
And now the story gets darker because word is Beyonce didn't just push Jay to handle Cathy, she allegedly made sure the unborn baby was gone too. Cathy was said to be pregnant with Jay's child right before she passed, and that child was Blue Ivy. The claim is wild. Beyonce allegedly faked her pregnancy while Cathy was carrying the baby for real. Then, as soon as Cathy was out of the picture, Bey popped up in headlines everywhere announcing she had finally given birth.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine, her hair over mine, her hands as gloves, her teeth as confetti, her scalp a cap, her sternum my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph, all three of us, immortalized. You and your perfect girl.
The timing had folks side-eyeing everything, but what nobody saw coming was Katt Williams stepping in. Out of nowhere, he started talking, backing Jaguar's words and confirming the story piece by piece. The whole scandal got buried until last year when Beyonce dropped her album Cowboy Carter. Buried in that project was a chilling track called Daughter, and fans swear it sounded like a confession. In the song, Beyonce seemed to describe what went down with her lover's mistress and how he covered it up with her.
Taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand, see? I mean, I'm just speculating.
The kicker? People think the title Daughter was a direct nod to Blue Ivy, the very child Cathy was allegedly carrying when her life was cut short. And then those disturbing lyrics. Your body, laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom couture bathroom attendant. Let me write in. She was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Then came the most haunting part of the lyrics. Now I ripped your dress, and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I'm colder than Titanic water. Some brushed it off as just another dramatic song, but others swore the lines were way too detailed to be coincidence.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Cathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get fucked over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. Right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You Sean.
Hey man.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Cathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
See, when Cathy White passed, the official word was that she died from a brain aneurysm. But as the years rolled on, people started digging deeper. And suddenly, that story wasn't holding up so clean anymore. The more you line up the timeline, the messier it gets. Let's run it back to August 28th, 2011. The night Beyoncé shocked the world at the MTV VMAs, rubbing her belly to reveal she was pregnant. But here's the catch. Just months later, on January 12th, 2012, Beyoncé announced Blue Ivy's arrival. Right around the same time, Cathy, who was also reportedly pregnant, was found dead in her home. And get this, her passing came only days before Bey's supposed due date. The overlap had people's jaws dropping. So when the new year rolled in, Beyoncé suddenly declared Blue's birth, and fans couldn't ignore how shady the timing looked. The theory? Beyoncé was never actually pregnant at all. People are convinced Blue Ivy came through surrogacy. And that surrogate wasn't just some anonymous woman. They believe it was Cathy White herself. Here's where the surrogacy talk gets wild. With gestational surrogacy, the surrogate only carries the embryo, but shares no DNA with the child. The embryo comes from the egg and sperm of the intended parents. That means the baby has genes from both mom and dad, but none from the surrogate herself. And this is exactly why people say Blue Ivy looks like a perfect mix of Beyoncé and Jay-Z, even though many believe Beyoncé never actually carried her. So why are fans convinced the pregnancy was fake? Simple. The infamous clip of Bey's baby bump collapsing while she sat down. How many pregnant women have you seen with bellies that fold like that? The video had folks screaming, "Ah, that's no real pregnancy." And then the whispers got darker. Word is, Beyoncé allegedly made sure Cathy was taken out after giving birth. Why? Because she feared Cathy would run right back into Jay's arms. But it wasn't just about love triangles. It was about silencing Cathy forever. If Cathy had lived, she could have stepped forward and blown Beyoncé's entire cover, exposing everything. And then comes the hospital mystery. Reports claim Bey and Jay dropped over $1.3 million just to shut down an entire hospital floor when Blue Ivy was born. Who does that? Unless they're hiding something. And if that wasn't sinister enough, fans dug into Beyoncé's song Anger and uncovered some bone-chilling lines. In the track, she allegedly talks about how she'd do anything to keep Jay, even if it meant wearing the skin and hair of his dead lover just to bind him to her forever. Now this part will make your head spin. A since-deleted article from Hollywood Street King dropped a bomb years back. They claimed they spoke directly with one of the NYPD officers tied to Cathy White's case. And according to that officer, Cathy's death wasn't from some random brain aneurysm at all, it was a homicide. The article's writer recalled, "Yesterday, I got the news that Cathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away. So I quickly began my investigation. And guess what? Cathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported widely around the internet. According to an NYPD detective, her cause of death is uncertain. Later today, we will have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious. The details get even creepier." The piece said a 911 call came from an apartment on West 19th Street in Manhattan. Paramedics rushed Cathy to Beth Israel Hospital after she was reported sick, and that's where she passed away. But the detective warned it was way too early to push the aneurysm theory. He admitted straight up, someone might have given Cathy something lethal. Toxicology tests were ordered, and everyone was told to wait for results that would take at least 2 weeks. But here's the kicker. Just 2 weeks before her death, Cathy had been contacted by a major tabloid digging into her secret relationship with Jay-Z. She didn't spill much, but the conversation was enough to rattle nerves. Then, according to sources, Cathy immediately phoned Jay afterward and flat out told him she was ready to go public with their affair for the right price. All of this went down in just a 2-week window. And then, not even 48 hours after Beyoncé announced she was pregnant with Jay's baby, Cathy White turns up dead under suspicious circumstances. The timing couldn't have been more chilling. But Jaguar Wright wasn't done stirring the pot. She later popped up in another interview and laid it all out, claiming Beyoncé not only faked her pregnancy, but also stole Cathy's unborn child right out of her womb before silencing her for good. According to Jag, that baby was none other than Blue Ivy, the same child Cathy was carrying before Jay supposedly had her taken care of. And Jaguar isn't the only one pointing fingers. Investigative journalist Liz Crokin also accused Jay-Z of being behind Cathy's mysterious death. In fact, Liz revealed she was about to land an exclusive tell-all interview with Cathy about her secret relationship with Jay just days before Cathy suddenly passed away. Coincidence? Not everybody's buying that. Liz later blasted Jay directly with a fiery message. When Kanye West says Jay-Z has murder, I believe he's talking about Cathy White. I was the reporter who spoke to your alleged mistress right before she died, and that story got buried. I know everything. I know what you did. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell together. Justice is coming. She didn't stop there, adding, it's only a matter of time before spirit cooking Jay-Z is exposed like Diddy. There's a reason Kanye said Jay's got blood on his hands. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Cathy White. One day, these false idols will fall, mark my words. And here's the kicker. Word on the street says the only reason Katt Williams hasn't gone full blast at Jay and Bey with these same allegations is because he doesn't want to be hit with the same kind of legal threats they allegedly threw at Jaguar. Remember when she went on Piers Morgan's show and things got heated? That's the level of pressure we're talking about. But here's the twist. Katt allegedly still stands firm that Blue Ivy isn't Beyoncé's biological child. And honestly, a whole lot of people agree with him. Fans online backed up his claims, dragging Bey for allegedly stealing Blue straight from Cathy. One person wrote, if Blue was born January 7th, that means when Beyoncé announced at the VMAs she was pregnant, she would have been about 4 months along. Her stomach wouldn't have been that big yet. Another chimed in, I remember reading all about this back in 2017, especially that deflated baby bump clip. I didn't want to believe it at the time, had to scrub it from my feed. And yet, here we are again. The internet never forgets, and when old receipts resurface, the questions just get louder. So now I gotta hear from you. What do you think about Katt Williams exposing Bey and Jay for allegedly being tied to Cathy White's tragic death? And do you believe Blue Ivy is really a surrogate baby, not Beyoncé's biological child? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tapped in with all the scandals we dig up. And I'll see you on the next one.